So I've watched Coraline, the 2009 stop motion animation movie, and I would rate it a 5, maybe a 5.5 at best. This movie is often praised as a dark, whimsical masterpiece. I mean, it has a lot of high ratings, but I don't really get it. I don't really get the appeal of this movie. I don't understand why people like it so much. And honestly, I think this is a very overrated movie in general, but also in the genre like Halloween, horror, animation type of movies. I definitely think this movie is really overrated. I mean, the stop motion animation itself, it looks stunning. It definitely looks really good. There's a lot of effort put into the details of every set piece and the movements. The textures look great, the lighting looks great, and overall the visuals look stunning. There's no doubt about that. Now, I myself, I'm not a stop motion animation fan, so that already for me was hard to watch. But then again, I can't complain about a stop motion movie being a stop motion movie. I have to see the movie for what it is, and it is a stop motion movie. There are just a few characters that I actually think are inspired or are really good. And one of those characters is the Russian neighbor. And in contrast to, for instance, the family of Coraline and Coraline herself as well. The concept of the other world, I mean, it's clever at first. And then we have the creepy idea of the button eyes as a symbol of control and submission. I mean, that all looks really creepy, and I definitely think that is a good way into the movie. I think that is like a good setup, but that's about it for me in terms of what is good about this movie. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think are not so good about this movie. First of all, the characters all are pretty weak. I mean, Coraline herself, she isn't particularly likable. I mean, she spends most of the movie just sulking and smirking, and I mean, her family, they aren't much better. They are portrayed as really dismissive, they are very dull, and in general, I would say it's really hard to care about their dynamic at all. You don't really root for the family, you don't really root for Coraline. So the characters in general, I would say, are pretty weak. The storytelling also, it's very predictable. Now, I don't really have a problem with movies being predictable because a lot of movies are. And I mean, this movie as well, at its core, it's just a retelling, a different way of Alice in Wonderland. It's like Hansel and Gretel type of movie. You know where this movie is going. You've seen it 100 times. I mean, child finds an alternate world. That world looks amazing at first, and then he or she discovers that this alternate world is really dangerous, and then she needs to fight to escape. There's nothing surprising here, and yeah, you can see the twists. I mean, between brackets, the twists or the twist, you can see it coming a mile away. And then we have the iconic imagery. I mean, the button eyes, I think it's a really cool idea, like really, but I don't really get I don't really understand where they were going with this. I mean, it's never really clearly explained what it means and what it does. So I think that's just lost on me, really. The idea is cool, but that's about it. And then we have these marbles containing children's souls. I mean, that is super creepy. I mean, in theory, but it doesn't really connect to the story in a meaningful way. Also here we never understand what the rules are or how they were trapped. It's like with the button eyes. I mean, what does it symbolize? And I don't really understand how Coraline herself is in danger. Really, I mean, for me, it's all fluff. It looks cool, but that's about it. So I think they wasted a really cool concept here in terms of creepiness. They should have done something with it, and they didn't. The movie also feels very repetitive. I mean, she goes into the other world, goes back to the normal world, once again into the other world, and so on and so on. It's a cycle that happens multiple times, and yeah, eventually the movie just starts dragging, especially in the middle, because it's just a cycle of repetition. So yeah, that's really what I think is very bad about this movie. There are a few things as well that I need to mention. Maybe it's like the pacing. I'm gonna mention this in a lot of reviews. The pacing for this movie feels somewhat unbalanced, especially the beginning, the first part. Like I would say, like the first 20, maybe 30 minutes of the movie, they are quite interesting, maybe a little bit intriguing. But the last part of this movie, I would say, like once again, like 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes of the movie, it really drags, like really, really drags. It's really, really poor. And the lack of emotional weight. When you watch like a Pixar movie, for instance, you always have this sense of heart, you know, that they're actually trying to do something, which is something that was lacking in this movie. You know, there was nothing that pulled any emotional strings for me. I really didn't care about Coraline, didn't care about her family, didn't really care about anything that was going on in the movie. And for me, this movie feels more like it is style over substance. I mean, I get the praise the movie gets for it looking really cool, for it looking really good. You know, it is visually striking, but you know, behind the visuals, or if you look past the visuals, the story it doesn't really hold up. There's nothing really there. So it feels like this movie is a lot of fluff instead of real substance. So I think this movie is really overrated in all those things and all those points. I mean, at the end of the day, Coraline, it's not a bad movie per se. I mean, technically, visually, it looks impressive, and there are a few flashes of creativity, I would say. But this movie also feels very hollow, it is repetitive, and it feels very unoriginal in many ways. If you love stop motion, then definitely watch this movie. If you are into Halloween, if you are into somewhat scary movies, then definitely watch this movie because it is visually striking. But if you're expecting some magic, some depth, then you're going to be very disappointed in this movie. So for me, Coraline, a 5 out of 10. I would say it's overrated, average movie at best. But then again, that's my take on the movie. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye.